Post abuse, we spend a lot of our time trying to understand who this person is and how they work, why they operate this way, why they're so cold, why they're so callous, why did they pretend, why did it seem like they were pretending, why do I feel like I've been cheated somehow, not only out of love at a time and everything, but the whole experience, everything, why does this feel like it was fake? They're understanding their psychology, understanding who they are. It brings a lot of clarity, but it takes a lot of time. Narcissistic personality disorder is so fucking complex. Um, that you could spend. I mean, I could talk. 10 minutes isn't enough for me to talk in a video here. You could give me 10 hours, and I could talk for 10 hours about narcissistic personality disorder. Believe me, I could, and there'd still be more to tell. But the one thing that we have to get our heads around with it is their self-concept. It's that grandiose self-concept that cannot be questioned. It cannot accept anything other than being seen as being grandiose, as being superior, entitled, allowed to, unquestionable, a god, a deity, something to be adored, something to be looked up to. And they cannot accept that. And it's really funny because we get fooled whenever we're in sort of one to one with them in relationship terms. But I guarantee you, if you saw these people operating out in the open the way they do with you in a crowd, you would pick it out really, really easily because it stands out like a sore thumb. It really does stand out like a sore thumb. Once you know the patterns, once you see the deniability that goes on, the absolute refusal to accept anything else other than the way they perceive the world, or more importantly, the way the world perceives them, then you start seeing these repetitious patterns of denial and withdrawal and splitting. They're primitive ego defenses. It's infantile. It's the infant in the room every single time. It's an unavoidable um, concept, a self concept that just you can't not see it. But when you're in a one to one with these people and they've got you hooked in and they've got that love bomb going on and they've got the trauma bond now well and truly in place, they've regressed you down into your infantile psyche and they have you now operating in a reactive manner in which they can flip the ego states. In other words, they can just go critical parent on you dead easy, and it gets you reactive. And then they start chastising, and it's these moments that they use to projectively identify their behaviors and traits onto you. So to heal from narcissistic abuse, there's a lot of deprogramming that needs to happen before you can even really take on any sort of therapy for the self, for you. You need to deprogram the abuse out of your head. And that means understanding these patterns. It means seeing these patterns. It means going back and looking at the transgressions that, and the moments that led up to those things and the arguments. And it's very hard post abuse because our memory gets sort of switched around quite a bit because we get a bit of toxic amnesia ourselves. But if you can think back to those moments where you felt the repression of your emotions, where you felt and you knew there was something red flaggy going on and something just didn't seem right, but you brushed it underneath the carpet, those are the moments you need to go and look at. Stories they may have told, about others, which were actually, you know, accusations towards them, but they were really them just sort of telling you what they've done, be that over time or, you know, over their lifetime or against you. These things tell so much of the story of them because they can't help themselves. They can't. They push the envelope at every single chance they have, always, because they have to. It's part of the separation fantasy. It's part of that want and need to desire to separate away from you, the idealized vision of mother that they never had, that they've now internalized as you. And this grandiosity gap that appears on the first narcissistic injury, it only ever widens. The devaluation cycles are all about the lack of identification with you, the bad object. They can't identify with a bad object. challenges them. It brings them back to their childhood trauma. It identifies them with their original abuser, and it's heavily challenged by the false sense of mother inside. And the false self cannot have it because it's too grandiose and too entitled and superior. They're patterns. It's just patterns. Be aware. Look into it. Use your rumination to your best advantage. Rumination is a survival instinct. It's a primal survival instinct to try and make sure we don't make the same mistakes again. Okay? But it's also the brain seeking safety and familiarity. You need to see the pattern to break it. Okay? Peace out. Love to love.